I'll call the February 2nd, 2026 meeting of the Newcastle Planning and Zoning Commission to order. First item of business will be roll call.
Gordon Harness.
Here.
Carl Evans is absent. Will Wright.
Here.
Keith Butthorn. Yes, please.
Here. Okay, we have quorum, and I'll note that we have a member of our planning staff that we'd like to introduce. I'll turn it to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to introduce, we had a new planner one start the middle of January 14th. Amos, if you stand up, this is Amos Aquina, and he is new to the city and Newcastle planning staff. So I just wanted to welcome him.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah,
Welcome.
welcome. Thank you.
You said it's Amos?
Mm-hmm.
We do have a quorum, so I'll call this meeting to order at this time. This item is approve the agenda as presented. There are a number of items on the agenda noted to be continued. So the agenda is accurate to that extent.
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor, signify with their hand. Be unanimously approved. Item 3 is consider approval of the minutes from the last meeting. I didn't find anything needed.
I'll motion it.
I have a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor, signify with an upraised hand. Be unanimously approved. Item 4 is report to City Council decisions on our Planning Commission recommendations for the last meeting.
So at the January 12th, 2026 City Council meeting, planning items, Riverview Villages, PUD, and the preliminary plat were continued. We also had a continued for Marty Lane, and item 6D was 6D was the final plat of Riverview Estates, Section 3 was approved by council. And that was all the items for, planning items for council.
The item number 5 is continuance requests, and those are noted in our agenda. So, make a motion that we accept and continue those items requested to be continued by the applicant.
Okay.
I have a motion second. All in favor, signify with an upraised hand. Be unanimously approved. Item 6 is citizens' comments. Do we have any citizens here who'd like to be heard on matters not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll proceed. Item number 7 is lots for approvals. I have one that I don't know why he'd want split lane.
I didn't want to. My goodness.
I guess this will be a 3-vote here.
Yeah. It's been an ordeal, but there you go.
Got approved.
Item 8 is a public hearing to consider the application for rezoning from agriculture to E1 suburban estate residential for Connor L. Smith and Sarah Smith, husband and wife. It's located in the north half and the south half of the northwest quarter of Section 16, Township 9 North, Range 4 West of Indian Meridian, McLean County, Oklahoma. Property address is 1200 North Rockwell Avenue, Newcastle, Oklahoma. This is R 2026-001.
All right, Chair and members of the Commission, my name is Amos Aquina, and I am the planner with the City of Newcastle, the Department of Planning and Community Development. So this item 8 item number R2026-001 is a request by applicant to rezone the property of approximately 2 acres located at 1200 North Rockwell Avenue from General Agriculture District A to Suburban Residential District E1. The property is with an existing single-family residence on it. The applicant is requesting to zone change in order to expand the existing house. Note that the 2-acre lot does not meet the minimum requirement for the General Agriculture District, which is 5-acre minimum. So that makes it a non-conforming lot. Due to that non-conformity, the existing building cannot be expanded unless the property is brought into compliance with the A5 zoning standards. I'd like to point out that this lot probably predates the 2003 zoning ordinance that established the current 5-acre minimum lot size requirement. While there is no clear data to when that lot split happened, we can trace when the building that is existing on the property was built. The county record indicates that the residence was built in 1998. Google Earth image shows an error image of the residence from 2002. So rezoning the property would bring the lot into conformity with this existing use and not affecting neighboring users. The subject property is about 2 acres in size, which meets the minimum requirement for an E1 zone. Now, again, I mentioned that the applicant is requesting this rezone change because he wants to expand the existing structure on the property. But to expand that, he needs at least 5 acres for him to be able to do that. Now, if you look at the slides that is on the screen, I think the first 2 images, and one you'd see the surrounding zoning and the land use, which is primarily single-family large lots and general agriculture district. You can see in the middle image, it's all general agriculture district. To the north, though, you'd see 2 different zones, that is E2, which are much smaller lots than the one that is being requested to be rezoned. So the zone change is more conforming and would not negatively impact the surrounding users. The only change would be the expansion of the existing structure. Again, in the slide that is far right, you see the city of Newcastle 2040 comprehensive plan. The future land use map designates this property and the surrounding lots as suburban residential, and the E1 district is listed as an appropriate zoning classification. So as such, no future land use map amendment is required, and the request is consistent with the city long-term planning goals. So a portion of the property is located in the floodplain, 100-year floodplain, as you can see in the slide, the first image to your left. As such, any future development on the plan would require that the applicant meets all applicable floodplain regulations, and floodplain permit will be required for any construction that encroaches into that area. With adherence to that, staff anticipates no or very minimum environmental impact. So staff find no adverse impacts associated with this request and recommend approval of this rezoning case R2026001 from General Agriculture District to the E1 Suburban Residential District. With that, I'll be happy to answer any question that you may have. Thank you.
I think this track is part of the addition that we,
It comes off the north looks like. It was off of 16th and that road didn't, oh, you know why that doesn't join? Why does it? I know, but it's in line there, but why those roads both dead end?
Well, that's an unplatted subdivision, and it was, they just never developed it. And everybody got to their house and no further development occurred. But we set that up and did a number of lot splits in there, going to the,
In Grigsby, yes.
yeah. This would be consistent or larger than most of those lots ended up being.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a problem with this at all. Increasing the house will certainly not be a detriment to the neighbors.
Probably an improvement.
Yeah. I'll make a motion that we recommend approval. Oh, yeah, we have to call for public comment, I'm sorry. Is there anyone that'd like to be heard on this matter? Any public comment? Seeing none, we'll proceed. I'll make a motion that we recommend approval of this zoning change.
Second.
Have a motion second, all in favor, signify by raising your hand, be unanimously approved. Thank you. Thank you.
Council is next Monday night for the final round.
Thank you. Perfect. So number 9 is a continued item. Item 10 is second part of Margaret Lane address, so it'll be continued. Item 11 is Armstrong Corner. So we'll proceed with that.
Good evening, Commissioners. Keith Johnston, Development Services Coordinator. This is for the preliminary plat of Armstrong Corner. It is located in the northwest quarter of Section 11, Township 9 North, Range 4 West. The owner and developer is Armstrong Bank. The engineer is Cedar Creek Incorporated. Derek Harris with Cedar Creek is here tonight representing Armstrong Bank. He's available for any questions after this presentation. So Armstrong Corner is a proposed 11.6 acre development consisting of 5 lots for commercial use and common area for drainage infrastructure. Property is zoned CC2, Community Commercial District, as shown on the slide, and it shows the neighboring zones that are consistent with that also. And the general location is just south of the Newcastle Casino, the southeast corner of Northeast 24th and Main Street. For access, the Armstrong Corner development has 4 points of access to public streets. 3 driveways are proposed from Northeast 24th Street and 1 from North Main Street. An ODOT permit is required for the driveway on North Main Street. ODOT is restricting this driveway to a right-in, right-out only due to the proximity of the traffic queues and turn lanes for the signal at Northeast 24th Street. Cross-access and shared parking apply to all lots in this proposed development. Next slide is preliminary plat. Regarding drainage and detention, for the entire Armstrong Corner development, drainage and detention are designed such that runoff from the proposed development will not exceed pre-development flows. A proposed pond is provided within the common area on the east side of the development. The maintenance of this pond and common area will be the responsibility of the POA. Stormwater drainage for Lot 5 will be conveyed underground when Lot 5 develops. Prior to the development of Lot 5, the developer is proposing an open channel to convey flows from the storm pipe system to the detention pond.
Will the surface be hard surface there on lot 5 before they do that, or when you say it will stay just graded surface until?
Graded with the open channel that will convey the water to the pond, and then once a building permit comes in for Lot 5, then the expectation is that it will be piped for that channel and then paved.
Sorry for interrupting.
You're good. The proposed project is not within the floodplain. And then regarding sanitary sewer, the development will be served by existing sanitary sewer located on 3 sides of the property. An existing 8-inch sanitary is located on the north side of the property along Northeast 24th Street. An existing 10-inch sanitary main is located on the North Main Street frontage. Also, an 8-inch sanitary main is located along the south boundary of Lot 5 and the east boundary of Lot 4 within the Bradford Place subdivision. Each lot will be required to tie into existing sewer for the specific lot development. For water, an existing 8-inch water line runs along the west side of the development along North Main Street, and an existing 8-inch water line runs along the north side of the development on Northeast 24. In addition, there is an existing 8-inch water line and easement running north-south in the western third of the development. So that's shown on the map also. This is an existing line that serves the church to the south, the Newcastle Christian Church. So with this project, there'll be that main will be rerouted over the main street and then run along the very south property line of the development to reconnect and then serve the church. But that allows them to remove the water line that's on lots 1 and 2, and then ultimately, once that's done, then the city can release the easement. All right, then for parkland dedication, so the requirement is 3.5% of the acreage must be dedicated as parkland, or $400 per lot fee in lieu must be dedicated. For this development, either 0.41 acres or $2,000 would be dedicated. The developer is requesting to contribute $2,000 in lieu of the dedicated acreage. So the developer of the oversight will perform the following after approval of the final plat: erosion control, associated permitting, construction of the detention pond, general site grading, interior stormwater network, construction of the water line necessary for the abandonment of the water line crossing lots 1 and 2. Site improvements for the 5 lots, including perimeter sidewalks and landscaping, will be constructed under the building permits for each lot. So the staff report that was provided in the Planning Commission packet stated that the developer would construct all the driveways shown on the plans following approval of the final plat. So this was city staff's understanding. However, the developer, Armstrong Bank, has indicated their desire to defer the construction of these improvements until the building permits for the individual lots are issued. So, and the city recommends that also at this time, just to provide them more flexibility as the lots are being developed. So,
Aren't they using cross parking, or common parking to
yes.
qualify their buildings though?
I'm sorry?
Aren't they using the cross parking to qualify sufficient parking?
So there is cross-access easements between each of the lots.
But if they don't improve the lot, there's no parking. So if they need it for one of the buildings they want to do, they wouldn't have enough parking. Is that right?
They would need to satisfy the parking requirements for whatever the use is that's being proposed. Planning staff and the city engineering consultant have reviewed this development with the applicant's design team. The applicant is in the process of addressing all staff concerns regarding the preliminary plat to meet the city's subdivision requirements. The developer and the city are interested in delivering the platted lots in order for commercial projects to commence. Therefore, staff recommends approval of this preliminary plat contingent upon addressing all remaining comments to the satisfaction of the city. And the following are the remaining comments that will be addressed by the developer prior to the application being forwarded to the city council. So they will provide the driveway culvert hydraulic calculations for the various driveways within the public right of way. They'll provide the hydraulic model where the city must verify the stormwater downstream can handle the new flows and change in the drainage patterns. And then there's also some drafting revisions that will be required on the various plats and plans. So in addition to the preliminary site plan, there is in addition to the preliminary plat, there's a preliminary site plan has also been provided, which is required by code. So that's the last slide for this. Also, which shows the kind of the layout, conceptual uses and parking areas for the 5 lots.
On the entrance on the main street, I know that your report, and you stated that it's right turn only, both directions, in and out. Is there any design work planned to make it impractical to turn in southbound? Because
Pork chop.
Yeah, it has a raised center median,
Okay.
if that's what you're asking. ODOT's requiring that.
Is that raised enough it'll be obvious and people won't want to pull into it, or is it just enough to be a little bump?
I mean, it's a barrier curve. It's not a roll curve, if that's what you're asking, but I mean, it's a 6-inch curve. It's not gonna do well on a set of tires.
Okay. Well, I just know we did this at the Sonic on Main, and it's never impressed anybody very much at all, so I'm afraid we'll see people trying to turn in there if it's not.
What they do at the Sonic, was it just painted or was it raised?
It's not a concrete barrier.
Yeah, the one at the Sonic's just painted. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna raise this one. So it'll be a barrier curve like you see.
Just state your name and address.
Derek Harris, 11912 North Penn, Oklahoma City. Yeah, we're gonna raise the curb, so it'll be a barrier curb,
Okay.
like you see in a standard parking lot.
Does it have the pork chop design?
It does have a pork chop,
Okay,
yeah.
there we go.
And the pork chop actually extends all the way, I think, to the right-of-way line. ODOT made us do that. So
It's small, but you can see it on there.
yeah, I thought it might be, but I wouldn't.
it's a big property, so everything's kind of shrunk down on the paper, but
The,
See on C1.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. There's a different, page 42, it says it too. The PDF.
Move your glasses down to the screen, bring your things in, all the way to the bottom.
sometimes I wanted to ask you. Let me just a second.
That drainage prior to lot 5 being completed, is that a concrete trickle channel that runs in that parking lot prior to a pipe?
lot 5, so it'll be an open channel, grass line. That lot is gonna remain undeveloped until it sells or goes under contract, and at that point, the storm will be extended.
And
So we're not putting any concrete in the bottom of it.
just a grass channel?
Grass channel.
To the culvert, based, like, same design as a culvert, making sure that it carries ample.
Yeah.
Great.
And we've got riprap provided, so, prevent the erosion at the end of the pipe.
So these drawings of parking in the buildings are just conceptual, or that's the plan for lot 5?
Lot 5, I mean, our,
Like there's a 12,000 square foot building, parking drawn on the north side.
yeah, so our job here is we're working for Armstrong Bank and they're wanting to chop it up and sell it. That lot's not under contract. We don't know what's going to go there. There's 2 lots under contract, so some of that might be accurate, but for the most part, it's just very preliminary conceptual. When they sell or go under contract, you can completely chop it.
But the stormwater will be required to be piped at that time. They'll have to go on the approved set of final plat and improvement plans. Whoever buys that lot will be held to finishing.
They have to do that, the buyer has to do that?
That's right.
So if lot 5 sells first,
Then it's going to be installed by the
Then it-
developer.
yeah.
It'll have to be. But right now, lot 5 is the furthest from the hard corner. It's the least valuable. The storm pipe is very expensive. Design constraints on the flatness of the site. We're having to put an RCB in instead of standard pipe. So, it's very costly. That being the least, valuable lot, they're wanting to punt on that for now. We are going to get a bid to do it now versus later just to see if it's feasible. But the idea is now is to leave it open channel, come back once they have a buyer on that lot and install it.
The
So-
design plans have been done, it just won't be completed at that time, is what I'm saying. Or,
Right.
yes.
Yeah, it's
So-
the same design as what we have going back to the west. It'll just be continued to the north.
Just out of curiosity, about how much is the delta cost?
That RCV is about $400 a foot. So, northwards of 100,000 to install that last little run of pipe. It's not nothing.
that's the difference?
It's traffic rated. It's traffic rated RCV. The reason we have to install that here is because the site is super flat. So we need to be able to park on top of that box. With a lot of the standard pipe, you have to have 12 inches, 24 inches of cover over the pipe to the parking lot to keep it from collapsing. So we're installing like an upgraded, you can essentially park on this pipe. It's got rebar, reinforced concrete box pipe. So it's really expensive. But with the design constraints of the site being so flat, and being so large, really, it was one of the only solutions that we had to get water from the far west side into the pond underground.
How deep that pond gotta be if you gotta be 2 feet in the ground?
I think the pond is roughly 5 foot deep.
And
So,
it's dry?
dry pond.
Yeah, that was the other question I was asking you. Is the pond designed to be a dry pond?
Yes, sir.
Fun?
Mhm.
Good.
You have to dig it out pretty deep from where the land's sold, don't you? Where that pond's gonna be, up there next to Bradford entrance?
Yeah, it's about 5 foot deep. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, is it just 5 feet? Be shocked.
I'd have to count the lines here. I don't know off the top of my head.
Look like 5?
Looks like it's 6 feet, roughly. Maybe a little bit deeper,
Okay.
like at the outfall, but mostly 6 feet.
Anybody have anything more?
My question is around the water line. We're gonna use the existing 8-inch, but I thought we had a requirement to upgrade to 12-inch. We're doing stuff. Water line.
Only on a section line road, and it's only serving that main. It's being rerouted because it runs diagonal. Like, see that diagonal line that runs through lots 1 and 2? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that line only serves the church.
Oh, okay.
So-
The 8-inch?
Yeah. And so what they're doing so they
That's why they're
can
going
build
around
on
it.
that. Yeah. And so they're just extending that, removing that portion, extending that 8-inch line off the existing water main on Main Street to serve that property.
Okay. And they're tying into,
The main that's existing on
Main
Main Street.
but is also an 8-inch?
Yeah.
which was my point, that I thought we were requiring developers to upgrade to 12-inch.
So because of this, and we probably should have caught that and written that in for a variance that we wouldn't require an upsize because they meet all the requirements, the hydraulic, all the pressures, everything for, those lots to develop under that 8-inch. We're not gonna require them to upsize
Is that
from,
the same 8-inch servicing all of Bradford, all 4 additions of?
well, Bradford also comes up 19th, you know,
Mhm.
so I have to look and see after
There's
the
a loop
map.
there?
hmm Yeah,
Okay.
Bradford loops, but it's still 8-inch, but it's come off an 8-inch. So
Right.
There is much need to upgrade.
so their interior, the Bradford development would only be required 8 or 6 inches, you know, because
Right.
there's no section line there. But no, we didn't require them to upsize that to 12 inches.
And I don't know what the sizing of the sewer line, I mean, it says 8-inch too, but I don't know what the requirements of that are, but an existing 10-inch sanitary, also an 8-inch. I just know that in the past, there have been developers that can't do what they want with their property because they only have a 6 or an 8-inch. And they can't add any more because the line's not big enough and there's a mile away before they, upgrade that they have to pay for themselves. So we're putting this in and not requiring them to do the upgrade that is several hundred feet. So that was my question.
I mean, it's a fair point that it's an 8-inch that's serving the church. If that church has something expand to the west of it in 5-10 years, that would be the same line that would support that, right?
Right, but then if they came in, if that church came in to develop that lot, say they wanted to put commercial on the frontage, or we would probably look at what the existing infrastructure is there and what their needs are and what their hydraulic studies say and determine if it was required. We are in the midst of doing our water and sewer modeling, and, everything up here up north is getting ready to change because of the turnpike. It's a little bit down the road, but they are working on what infrastructure we're going to need to serve this area, and that's what that modeling will help us do. But for now, we don't want to make it so costly that we can't
No, I agree.
commercial development, and if the
I agree
water
totally.
suffices, then we're going to go ahead and allow them to do that. But you are correct, and so that was a good catch, and we need to make sure and include that in there.
I had a note on C100. This is very minute, so it's not a big deal, but you have a note that says proposed 6-foot opaque fence. It points to the east side. There is a spot right here where it's not opaque. Just, I don't know if it's needed, if you need to make a note of that it just is proposed 6-foot opaque fence as needed, or it's just one house, it's the second one down.
Yeah,
Passed by today and just verified it that it is a chain link there.
so when those blocks come in for development, if the building permit, that's when planning will come in and say, oh, you're required if it's not there, that the commercial property is required to put that privacy fence in, that stockade or hay.
Well, and if lot 5,
abutting residential.
if lot 5 is developed like that,
Mm-hmm.
the residential facing of that will have to be bricked or something that backs up to the residential.
80% on all sides.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
Right.
will. They will, because it's zone CC2,
right.
and that now is more stringent, almost in our overlay district, they'll be bricking all sides at 80%.
So this is all 6-foot fence?
Correct. And the code reads anything abutting a residential, if it's residentially zoned. So they'll have to,
Not necessarily the church property.
right,
Right.
that's correct. Because the church is zone CC2.
Yeah.
Anything else? Thank you, sir. Call for any public comment. Anyone in the audience wants to be heard? Seeing none, we'll proceed. Keith, did you have anything else you wanted us to do?
All set. Thank you.
This time I'll make a motion that we recommend approval of the preliminary plan and final.
Just 11. Yeah, it's just 11, preliminary.
Recommend approval of the preliminary plat of Armstrong Corner.
That item 11.
Yes, item 11.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to recommend approval of item 11, Armstrong Corner preliminary plat. All in favor, signify by raising hand. Be unanimously approved. Item 12 is discussion and possible action on the final plat of Armstrong Corner. Tell us any more on that? Can't seem to
Not a
fit it.
lot more, so good evening again.
Good evening, sir.
So at the request of the applicant, we are processing, not a guess, the preliminary plat and the final plat submittals concurrently with this. So considering the very limited public infrastructure, staff has accommodated this request, and therefore we have a final plat for presentation tonight. The presentation is identical almost to the preliminary plat, so if it's okay with commission, then I can skip to the recommendations. Planning staff and the city's engineering consultant have reviewed and developed this development with the applicant's design team. The applicant is in the process of addressing all staff concerns regarding the final plat and the improvement plans to meet the city's subdivision requirements. The developer and the city are interested in delivering the platted lots for commercial projects to commence, and therefore staff recommends approval of the final plat and improvement plans contingent upon addressing all remaining comments to the satisfaction of the city staff. So the remaining items are the same, the culvert hydraulic calculations, the hydraulic model for the downstream, and the drafting revisions. Take any questions for the final plat?
Just a question then, the drainage out of the detention pond, is that just into the 24th Street ditch going down to the stream that's?
Presently, and Derek, do you want to go ahead? I know.
We have two outfalls on the pond. One is going into the back of the storm box on 24th. And that's going to handle the smaller events. Once the pond fills up, it's going to spill over into Bradford's place in the larger storm events. So there's two discharge points, one in the city right away and one into Bradford's place.
You need an easement to do that?
Or are we doing this just on the fact that it runs off now so we can do it?
Do what?
Water runs off now and so we
Yeah,
can do
so
it.
it kind of bleeds east. It's really flat. So is Bradford Place, that's a public road?
Public street. So
Yeah, so it's
curb and gutter.
essentially discharging into right away on both sides.
But there's an access channel to do that. Are they just going on the road? I mean, is that above the road entrance, I'm guessing, of Bradford Place?
Well, there's a landscape area next to Bradford Place, the actual curves, but yeah, we're just
Yeah, but
discharging.
this is the entrance. There's no, the houses start here
Yes,
and you're going that way.
yes.
So it would just hop over if it's in an event, but it's sized to the 500-year storm.
Right. We modeled the
With
pond to meet,
a foot of freeboard.
we modeled the pond to meet city code. There's just two outfall structures, one going east and one going north.
Okay.
We've not had good record or good history with its normal flow pattern, just flows across there. And we're entitled to put everything out that's been going out. We tend to flood the neighbors. That's what we see up here in Meadow Lake.
I don't know which way that road flows.
It flows to the south. Grade breaks about halfway through. Some of it goes south through the neighborhood to the creek, and then to the north it breaks and goes into the inlet, which we're stubbing into the back of.
So if it flows out of that pond, half of it goes north, half goes south?
Yes. So what goes into the box, does that just go on down the ditch channel?
Well, it'll go underground and then go east into the ditch channel, yeah.
I don't remember when the size of that.
Is that ditch out in front of that new shopping center? Is that ditch drain? Is it? Okay. Yeah, so it's pretty deep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, we're talking about.
Yeah, but I'm
24th
talking on down now.
He's talking about London's,
Yeah.
shopping center that's
Yeah,
further.
that's on east of here.
Yeah, okay.
When it's going out of the street, it's eventually gonna go down there.
When it went down to the Bradford, that 3 that is just east off of, just first comes off of 24th, goes into runs alongside the creek.
The one just east of Bradford 1 and 2?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's 3, the little.
that little one. That had drainage problem for a while, but they finally got that fixed. I don't know. Do we know if we got a drainage problem in Bradford?
Not aware of one.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I've not had any issues or complaints or calls regarding any drainage issues in Bradford.
The streets a lot over the years when it's raining hard, and I've never seen an issue, but, because it slopes pretty well, kind of southeast all the way through.
Yeah. Well, I think it goes back to,
Kind of goes southeast if you just kind
Yeah.
of work your way through there. There's a creek down there in the back.
right,
That's back if you go all the way back of Bradford 4,
yeah.
all the way east of Bradford 4.
That was the other question I wanted to ask a little bit ago. On the, west entrance, on Main Street, the culvert design on that, as we've done that, what they're doing south of the 19th Street. I don't know what we're calling that development right there, the
Castle Court.
Castle Court. Those ended up being some pretty big culvert designs. Are we doing that up there on this?
It will be similar designs, and I think they're still working on the sizing.
We've got some direction on that, so they're gonna upsize from what you're seeing there. It's probably gonna be 2 or 3 culverts underneath that drive. One concern with that would be the church only has a 12-inch culvert, so we're kind of, trying to find the middle ground between not flooding the church and making sure that it all goes under the road, right? So,
Yeah. We appreciate not flooding the church, but.
But that first church drive on the north end is gravel, and I think it's pretty low. So the other one to the south there is concrete, and a little bit higher with that first one might be some issues.
Yeah, they didn't do any monumental work on their entrance. Count on you to watch that, Keith.
We got it.
Any further discussion here? No. I'm gonna make a motion that we recommend approval of the preliminary plat. No, I've already done that. The final plat, item number 12. Of Armstrong Corner. Conditioned upon meeting the requirements of the planning department.
So
All in favor, signify by raise hand. Approved unanimously. Thank you, Larry. Item 13 is continued, item 14 is continued. Item 15, discussion possible action setting a date for the next special meeting. Hopefully we need one at this time.
Is item 12, 13, will they be in our next scheduled regular meeting?
Yes, that's anticipated. New business. Old business. I guess I've got a question on that. We're gonna go ahead and send our motion on the, on Riverview's Village. Question, council to consider it as part of that, whether they want to go ahead and intensely develop this area.
Include it again, I'm sorry.
Well, when we made that motion on the land use map
Mm-hmm,
for this, for the,
which got recommended.
we recommended it on the condition that the council consider and address the issue of whether they want to densely develop.
Correct, which it hasn't been before, that land use amendment hasn't been heard by council yet.
Right. Is that gonna go to them
Yeah.
pretty quick?
It'll go to them when they want, all three of these are companion items, so when it goes, it'll go before planning commission on the 23rd of February for the PUD and the preliminary plat, and then when it goes to council, that's when the land use amendment will go to council, that'll be first, companion HUD application and the preliminary plat. So yes, that's a long answer to, yes, they will have to vote on that land use amendment, which allows that mixed use residential commercial from the commercial designation.
If this gets continued again for some reason, I'd like to go ahead and send that to the council so we can get some response back from them of what they want to do with this area. Because the way that it's looking now, is they're going to do a lift station. We need to consider a pretty big area that could be starting to develop right there. Because this will drain clear up to 24th and Rockwell and clear to Willow Drive.
And it's just the sizing of that area, so they have plenty of room to potentially expand. Riverview Villages could only be required to take care of what they,
No, because I'm going to push at least to do the same thing we did in Fox Hollow, which is build a lift station that will take care of all of this. And I think that's what the council did last time.
yeah, I wasn't obviously here during that, so I'd have to go back and look or have some input on how we require the developer to do that beyond the scope of what their needs
Because we aren't going
met.
to take the lift station if it's not built.
Yeah, and I hear that,
Standard,
yeah,
And it just doesn't make any sense for us to let them put a pressure line in that nobody can join into, and then have to build another lift station to take somebody that's near there.
I thought Dean, that was a large part of our discussion then,
Yeah, we
so,
talked about that, and he wasn't opposed to it. So
Yeah.
I think they'll do it.
yeah.
I mean, it's
So-
building this, I mean, I don't know for sure on the Fox Hollow, if we made them put the pumps in big enough to handle Newcastle Farms and the fire station and all of that. But if you built the wells big enough and you put the smaller pumps in, the city would have to make the next person up to the pumps.
Right, that's gonna tie into
That's
it.
kind of fair treatment of everybody,
Mhm.
but it keeps the city out of having a bunch of pressure lines out there that, they're silly.
Right,
And that's one of the things they need to look at and tell us, because that makes my vote a whole lot easier. And I know Carl's, when I talked to Carl about the deal, that was one of his questions. Here's back on that yet.
I will, when we get that preliminary plat back, which he's not giving it to us yet, but we will,
Well, and if he
Take
gets
a
it
look
to us
at
on
it.
time, it's gonna go before them together.
Yeah, it'll go before together. It'll,
Well, but I'm saying that if he doesn't get us to us for the February meeting, let's send that other one on to the city.
that was a request of the applicant, so I guess I can,
Well, I'll send
make
them on.
them, yeah, I mean, I guess that we can say, well, this is gonna be her because of this reason.
Yeah.
No, because she had asked, she's got it on her February, city council meeting for Monday night, as a continuing item for the land use.
Yeah, because they're all on there,
Well-
the land use, the,
But if it's already on there, I can't change that.
No, but they could act on that one, that one, because it is on their council agenda.
but since it's gonna come back to, so I haven't gotten anything back from them yet.
Yeah,
And since it's gonna come back to planning commission at the end of this month,
right.
then you guys will take a look at these, the HUD and the preliminary plat, and then hopefully in March, the land use, the PUD, and the preliminary plat will move together. You're saying, I think, is if they don't get this passed by March, so that if they continue it again, by March, you wanna see the land use amendment be heard by council.
Yeah, but I was saying that because I didn't think we could get it on their agenda for Monday's meeting, because we're so close. But if it's already on there and we could let them hear it, I'd be real pleased if they'd hear it, because I think that affects our vote. They tell us, no, we don't want that density development here, which we probably aren't gonna hear. Here's my observation at this stage. But it'd be nice to then say, yeah, we're ready for all that, the small lot development.
Right, and I do hear what you're saying, but I think too, at the same time, it's an interesting case because what happened during planning commission, you guys voted on that, and then when it got to the HUD, that's when it got continued, and then they came back and that's when it got continued again. So it never has gone, it's been because it's been noticed, it has to continue to be on those agendas. But the applicant wanted to hear those as companions, as we usually do take them together. So I do hear what you're saying, I just don't know if the timing
Well, it's
for the March meeting,
because
or for
we
the
expect-
February
because we
council
expect them
meeting.
to get on our February
agenda.
meeting.
Yeah, which they will
It may
be.
be impractical, but if they were not, then it would not be impractical. Go ahead and send it to the city, and if the city could go ahead and hear it now, it's not detrimental to them. But if you get our question resolved, if they hear it.
Regarding just the
Yeah,
ability for the,
Just the density issue. Well, the condition that we put on our recommendation. So they look at it and say, yeah, we don't care about your condition. That's the way we want to go. Then we know that we're voting consistent with their plan. And I haven't gotten a good reading on that yet. So that's just a thought.
okay.
It looks like it could go. Let it go if it won't.
It'll be on the February plan. I mean, it'll be heard. It'll be ready to be heard by planning commission at the February 23rd.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll try pretty hard.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's whole business. Anybody like to go home?
Hey, Will, before you.
To adjourn?
Yeah. Kind of quiet, but.
It's that lot split thing.
You're saying second.
It all
Was that
worked
your-
out
was that your
well.
rec-
I know.
It
I
all
know.
did,
No.
it worked out great,
Just
didn't it?
joking.
We still gotta have
That
second
lady
vote.
staff,
I still have to close on the house.
work
Yeah,
with.
I'll second, we still got vote. Oh, there you go.
All
Okay,
you
I've got a motion over there.
Yeah,
Got a
second, all
there.
right, I was gonna
All
say.
in favor?
Yes.
Daniel, so approved.